Do trees feel pain? It's a question that's haunted us every time we prune, tap, or graft. Today we're diving into the hidden world of trees, where science, spirit, and centuries-old wisdom collide. Trees! They give us oxygen, they feed us, they shade us, they give us beauty to look at. So when we, go into prune, with my sore hands, it feels like we're cutting off a limb. So does it hurt it? Does it hurt trees? Do they feel pain?
Scientists have a word for projecting our human feelings onto other beings like trees. It's called anthropomorphism. So if we're cutting these branches, some people may think that it's similar to cutting a limb. But really, is that true? For this tree, removing these branches helps the tree become more healthy. For some trees, we can even use these branches as hardwood cutting or as scienwood to propagate the tree. So basically, we're helping this tree, which is getting pretty old, to live on longer. So when we were searching about this, we found two really common arguments, basically saying that trees don't feel. One is that when I'm cutting these branches, it seems pointless for the tree to feel anything because it cannot run away. And that's from the perspective that the pain, as part of our evolution, is designed for animals, beings that can actually respond to it. And at first glance, it looks like the tree cannot run away. The second argument is that trees do not have a nervous system like us humans or other mammals. So if they don't have a nervous system, no nerves, no pains, right? Well, maybe it's not that simple. Maybe we are, even as scientists, we have been anthropomorphizing our way of studying. We are projecting our way of understanding and seeing the world onto trees. So it's very much possible that the tree is understanding exactly what's going on. This particular action may not be painful. The tree maybe understands that I'm trying to propagate. Maybe it will receive my intentions and it might be actually happy. And of course, we need to respond or we need to approach the plants with respect. But what I'm doing to the tree is not like cutting my limbs. Like if I cut my finger and plant it somewhere, it's not going to germinate and make another version of me. But in this case, I'm trying to make the tree more healthy and help it grow and also propagate.
Dr. Suzanne Simard studied this network of trees in the forest. She came up with the term wood wide web, which talks about the network that connects trees throughout the forest. So, like for example, this maple tree can be talking to that walnut tree, and they share information, knowledge, nutrients. It's this whole network of communication underground that we didn't know existed.
When the seed falls from the old trees, these old, big old 300-year-old trees, the seed falls to the forest floor, it germinates. As soon as it germinates, the seed will send a hypocotyl down into the soil, which starts sending signals to the other roots and fungi and critters, bacteria in the soil. There's a huge communication going on. A chemical communication. Basically, they just link into the network of the old trees. They become part of this big woven quilt. Those seedlings suddenly have a huge resource available to them. They've got the resources of their elders. They also, just by having the mycorrhizas, they're able to also access all of the nutrients and water in the soil that these big old trees are able to access as well. It's like inheriting a large bank account as soon as you're born. So the other thing that happens, they get mycorrhizal, but they also start receiving subsidies from these old trees. If they didn't have these subsidies, they would die. They wouldn't make it in the understory of these old trees. It's too shady, it's too dark. They can't photosynthesize enough on their own. And so it's a very dynamic environment throughout the life of these trees.
Trees provide us with so many amazing things, even in life and even in death. In death, they provide us beautiful firewood to heat our homes. And each time we do take from trees, it's really important to us to treat them with respect. So like if we go out and we gather white pine for tea, you always ask, I personally ask permission, and then clip the little parts that you want, and then you always thank the tree for the beautiful nourishment that they give you. So yeah, it's really important. They may not feel pain, maybe, like we think they might, but they really do deserve respect and our love. So do trees really feel pain?
Well, the answer is not that simple. The scientific consensus is somewhat that they do not feel pain like we do because they don't have a nervous system and they don't walk around. But the forest is a huge, intelligent, conscious being that deserves a lot of respect. So how do we actually approach this question then when we thinking about the forest?
Dr. Suzanne Simard's work was really interesting. I highly recommend looking into her work and her research on the communication and the network of a forest. It's just so much more complicated and amazing than we could ever imagine. So yeah, she has a book, The Mother Tree, and she has a bunch of other work. Definitely recommend checking out.
Yeah, and she's done 30 years of work on this, and many of her findings were considered controversial because they were inconvenient.
Exactly.
The science is just catching up on this. All of these knowledge, and when we look at some of these, famous quotes from scientists when they're discovering these things, it seems like we are just rediscovering indigenous knowledge.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true.
Yeah. So there's many things that we don't need empirical evidence to really understand. If you walk in the forest and you start developing relationship, you understand what's happening. You don't need somebody to tell you, scientifically this relationship is going to be beneficial to you. Like we can just enjoy the benefits. It's kind of like putting your hands on a warm fire.
Right. There's a reason that forest bathing got so popular and has so many benefits to people. Not just people, dogs. Dogs are way ahead of us. They know how much fun the forest is and how great they feel when they come. But yeah, definitely it deserves so much respect.
So if there's any message that you are able to take out from this video, from our perspective, is to develop more relationship with nature, to immerse yourself, to spend more time with trees. Okay, time for our farm update.
Yeah, farm update. Not a whole lot has changed with the animals, except, the weather's the biggest thing. We went from hacking ice to slipping and sliding in mud, which is great. I'm not going to complain. The waterfowl are so happy about it. Their ponds are all defrosted, so they just live in the ponds. It's great. They're very happy. Yeah, and sheep. Yeah, lamb. Again, time's ticking down. We have about 25 more days until the first lambs will start dropping. Knock on wood. Assuming they're pregnant, it's hard to tell because they were very healthy going into winter. So I can't tell if they're pregnant or fat, but yeah, so that's exciting. That's animal-wise.
Yeah.
Everyone's loving this early spring.
And as you saw in the video, we started tapping the maple trees. It was quite challenging to get enough sap from them because this year we had all these really cold days where the temperature in the day and night was below zero. And then all of a sudden one day, temperature in the day and night was above zero. But for the sap flow, you kind of need the temperature at night to be below zero and then during the day to be above zero. Mushroom logs, I haven't been able to harvest yet, but I'm hoping this week I'll be able to harvest a few and put them aside on the north side of one of the buildings on a nice shady spot. So I'll put that in our next video update. Stay in touch and let us know in the comments what you think, and also what's your relationship with the trees and what do you think about this topic? Do trees feel pain or not?
Yeah, exactly. Stay tuned for our next video. Lambing!
All right, bye.
Sheepies! Sheepies! Hi, Bandy.
아버지 아버지. Good night, everyone.